All right, and we're live.
That was a good slate.
Welcome back to the show, Greg Lapin.
Thanks for having me.
What episode were you on again? I don't remember.
Yep, the awesome one, the best one.
So we're down here in Orlando, Florida. We just wrapped up a weekend at the Jiu Jitsu World Championship, so we're going to be geeking out on Jiu Jitsu for a little bit. But yeah, Greg is a homie of mine. We don't go back fairly far, but we got a lot in common. We came from the same group of people, so it was just cool linking up after working similar contracts overseas, being jiu-jitsu guys, being in the same circle, and then it was inevitable that we were going to be besties. So,
bro, we probably walked through like the same DFACs at some of the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Never met each other.
It was weird, man. But no, it's been an interesting weekend. We are down at the, like I said, Orlando, Florida for the Jiu Jitsu World Championships. It's Masters Worlds, so it's the old guy worlds. And for this event, you have to be 30 years old or above. And then they have different categories based on your age, your weight, and your belt. And we were down here with, how many people rolled down with us? 5 or 6?
Yeah, we had, I think, six of us down here.
And my professor, Joao Assis, was down here as well, who was going to join us, but in true Brazilian fashion, plans changed last minute, and he had to head back to California. So you're stuck with just me and Greg again. Oh, but what I was going to say is Greg did an episode, I don't know, it's probably been 10 episodes ago or whatever, and goes into a lot of his background and his deployments and that kind of stuff. And I'm sure we'll circle back around and talk some details about some of those things. But right now it's jiu-jitsu time. So
yeah.
What do you think, man?
Jiu-jitsu is awesome. Everyone should do it. Go join a gym. Change your life.
Yeah. And
make the world a better place.
If you're in Lake Stevens, Washington, or Huntington Beach, join Electric Jiu-Jitsu.
And if you're anywhere outside of or around the New Orleans area, join Vita Jiu-Jitsu.
And so it's actually been cool because we get to, over the last 3 or 4 months, me, Joao, and Greg have been linking up for different things and going to each other's gyms. The next trip's up at my place, and everyone's going to come up to Seattle and do some jiu-jitsu and some shooting and stuff, so it'll be fun. But, I got talked into this trip. Joao initially talked me into it. He said he came up to Seattle not too long ago, and we trained, and he's like, Greg, you feel really strong right now. Your jiu-jitsu's on point. You should compete. And whether you want to compete or not, when your professor's telling you to,
you do it.
You do it. That's kind of, you know what I'm saying? Because competition's one of those things. I never tell students they have to do it. Some gyms do. Some black belts kind of want to monitor competition as part of their jiu-jitsu progress. But in my opinion, competition is really good for some people. And for other people, if it's not their thing, it's not their thing. Yep. So I'm not going to try and talk them into it. I recommend it to everybody. Even if you're not going to be an avid competitor or chase a world title or like make that a part of your life, if you go out there and you compete even once a year.
Good pressure test.
Yeah.
Pressure test.
It lets you know. I had a friend that used to say, it lets you know where you're not. Mm-hmm. And I like that because it's easy to become a big fish in a little pond. It's easy to inevitably, even if guys are better than you at your own academy, you start to figure each other out. You know each other's games. You know what each person brings to the table. And so it's a different type of energy when you're training with people you know and people you're friends with versus some random guy.
And in your safe space.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
That's you're not on the main stage.
With a bunch of eyes on you, a bunch of people you don't know who the fuck they are.
All your students at home watching you on Flow and everything.
So that's a real thing. So there's a website called Flow Grappling, and they stream all of the major grappling events. So the Jiu Jitsu World Championships, every single fight is streamed. And I had a bunch of people saying, hey, can you send me the link? Can you send me the link? And since it's been 3 years since I've competed, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll get that to you. That's added pressure, And I mean, I don't know if it's, some people eat pressure up and it's good for them, and other people will fucking wither under it. So, and I think I'm somewhere in between. But
well, you get inoculated to it as well. So, just from an outsider looking in, you haven't competed in almost 4 years.
Yeah.
So that pressure is going to be different than if you're competing once a month, once every 2 months.
Yeah, of course,
you
man.
get just like our training, we get stress inoculated in the shoot house. And first we're shooting just cardboard targets, and then you're shooting, paper targets that look like people holding hostages, and then you're shooting simunitions with force on force, and then you're throwing flashbangs and clacking off explosive breaching charges, and the stress builds until it's not that stressful at the highest level. Same thing with competition.
But I would equate like competition to going down range. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, the feeling's the same. It's crazy.
And what I mean by going down range is like from a soldier or from a contractor's perspective, you train, just like Greg was saying, and you can simulate a lot of stress in training. I mean, in Ranger School, they used to throw arty simulators at us, and it sounds like bombs are going off and they have machine guns going. It's like you can simulate stress to a point, withholding food and sleep, all that stuff, right? But it's not the same as when you're getting blown up by a real world IED and dudes are shooting AK-47s at you.
I was going to say that it's not the same as being in the team room, getting jocked up for real, walking out to your vehicles or your helo.
Yeah.
Going, this is for real this time.
Yep.
That's different.
And that's kind of the competition feeling.
Dude, I told you, driving there on Thursday, and I felt pretty good this go around. I really wasn't that nervous. But I had just done PANS, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
2.5 months ago, I just done PANS, which, for those of you who don't know, PANS or Pan Am Games is PANS, Worlds, Euros are probably like the three biggest Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments in the world. So I'd just done PANS a couple months ago, same location, same venue. So I was kind of already stress inoculated to being here and being in that crowd and that whole venue. So I felt good. But had I not, I would have been skyrocketing. But I told you, dude, boom. I just felt the adrenaline bomb hit.
Yeah.
I felt that heat go through my chest, down my esophagus, into my belly. I felt my digestion starting to shut down. Like I was like, yep, we're here. We're ready to go to war.
Yeah, it's bizarre how the body, your brain knows I'm just doing a jiu-jitsu competition. But the physiological reaction to competition, your body thinks it's going to war, And so, I've already put it out there. There's no shame. I lost my first match 0-0, and it went to a referee's decision. And I mean, we've had a lot of talks over the last couple of days about winning and losing. And it's interesting because people aren't really upset or proud based on a win or a loss. They're upset or proud based on their performance. So, I mean, everybody wants to win. Obviously, you want that gold medal and you want to go home with it. But what you don't want to do is go home with a loss where you feel like, I fucked that up, or I could have done better, or I saw openings that I wasn't capitalizing on, all of that stuff, which I'm feeling right now. And again, not the end of the world, but like you had a very different experience.
That's how I felt at PANS, though.
Yeah, I know.
I did something stupid that cost me a gold medal. I had the gold medal. 57 seconds left. All I had to do was wait. I had the gold medal.
And it still haunts you.
And I got greedy, and it still haunts me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was a different go round. Won my first match, lost in the semifinals, and I got beat by the better grappler. He was better than me, hands down.
Mm-hmm. And like, that's not really. I mean, I guess it's frustrating while it's happening. Some guy on your back and you can't shuck him off. Like, whatever, that's jiu-jitsu.
Actually, we do that in the gym. I just knew, it was like, God dang, this guy's control is freaking good. I got to do something.
Yeah. And the couple times that you did do the right thing and you started to escape,
bro, he had an answer.
Change the angle. He had answers for it.
Yeah, he was just better than me.
Yeah.
No shame in that. There's a lot of people better than me. I had a whole lot of things, bro.
There's a couple, And I mean, it doesn't matter what you do or who you are. There's always somebody better.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're Bashesha.
And then even some people give him a hard time.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, remember freaking Gordon Ryan's shoulder crunch sweep in ADCCs?
Yeah. And Hodger caught him too.
Yeah, like everyone. And look, a different day, it could have been different.
Of course.
Like it all. That's the thing with jiu-jitsu, man.
Well, that's why it's interesting. That's why we watch it, right?
That's why it's fun. That's why we do it. It's awesome.
I guess nobody would watch any type of combat sport if you knew the outcome, Because even the guys that are like at their peak, sometimes you're tuning in just because you're like, this is going to be the time they fuck up, you know? And so, yeah. And, you know, Joao didn't have the best weekend either. He took third, which when you're a multiple time world champion, ADCC champion, third is kind of unexpected, you know?
Right. But also, this is his second competition back from basically like retirement.
Yeah.
You know, where he hasn't competed in 3 years. He came back. He did pans with me, and he killed it, and he took gold. But again, this is only his second competition back. And, you know, we're flying, we're traveling, different climate, especially for you guys, very different climate than what me, I'm just slightly west of here, you know?
Yeah.
And that all, we talked about that. That screws with your body. It screws with your physiology, you know, being in now a humid climate and, you know,
even though it's cold Florida right now.
Dude, it is cold. It sucks. I don't like cold Florida.
I know. I want to get out of shitty Seattle weather and actually fucking enjoy myself down here, but I had to wear a coat the whole time. So
well, it's warmer than New Orleans right now, though, too.
Oh, really? It's cold up there?
New Orleans has been freezing.
Get a little closer. We're starting to.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right, there we go.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's always cool to just link up with the guys, spend a weekend away, and kind of open your eyes on what you need to work on and figure out what's working for you and what's not. And that's what people always say. Oh, it's back to the drawing board. But there's a reason that's a saying. That's what we do. We go home, and Monday for me, it's back to the fucking drawing board.
That's it.
And I'm going to run practice, and I'm going to roll hard, and I'm going to think about all the little things where I was missing my grips and what I can improve on. And I want to fucking compete as soon as I can, you know?
And you know what's cool about it? And this, I think, you know, I'd like to think everyone thought this way. They don't, but we do. Is if you were leaving here with a gold medal, you do the same thing. You do the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you, even the tournaments that I've walked off of with a gold medal around my neck, meaning I beat everybody. I was first place. I was the winner. I was like, man, I should have subbed that dude faster. Or, man, I can't believe I didn't hit that fucking takedown that I wanted. You know, like,
yeah.
We're critics. We're our own worst critics. So, no medal or gold medal, Monday morning,
yeah,
we're back on the mats fucking trying to kill each other.
Dude, it's funny you say that because Rashna, one of the girls that was down here with us, her first match, she armbarred the girl at 2 minutes and like 20 seconds. Her first match.
But she wanted the triangle.
Well, yeah, she wanted the triangle. And then she also told me that she was mad that it took 2 minutes and 20 seconds. I said, what are you talking about? You submit the person halfway through the match. Yeah. That's about as good as jiu-jitsu gets, because everybody knows submitting someone during competition is exponentially more difficult. Your opponent has that adrenaline, and they're also willing to risk more injury, and they're grittier. And she goes, yeah, but I visualized finishing her before the match at about the 30-second mark. So I was like...
Which I don't want to say is impossible, but like 30 seconds in, when you slap and bump...
Yeah, you're still feeling each other out in 30 seconds.
Right. You're looking at your timing, your movement, your angles, you know.
Well, that's the other thing about this tournament is the timeline's a lot shorter. Like, I'm at 5-minute matches now. Yeah. Whereas when I competed in the adult division, it was 10-minute matches. So
yeah, black belt,
yeah,
adult, 10-minute matches.
Black belt, 10-minute matches is it's that's a long time to be competing.
Yeah,
you know, and everything kind of changes doing 5-minute rounds. You know, because it was funny because I thought that I'd be able to push the pace hard, and I think I could have because I wasn't really tired at the end of it, but I just felt stagnant.
Yeah.
You know, so who knows? I'll watch the video, and
Monday's a new day, bro.
And I'll watch the video that I won't be posting on Instagram.
You'll get every Instagram warrior. Bro, you should just stood up. Bro, why didn't you do this?
That's what Andy Stump said.
Bro, why didn't you submit him?
Andy Stump already commented on my page. He goes, bro, why didn't you just win?
Yeah, why didn't you just win, dude? You know?
It's that easy. So yeah, that's what has been going on for the last week. The other thing that me and Greg just put together that'll be cool to talk about on the show, because we sold out our Guns and Geese camp almost immediately that we put together. And if you haven't seen this on my Instagram as of yet, what we did is we decided to, Greg is a really, really experienced and proficient rifle and pistol marksmanship and instructor. And we were talking, our two favorite things are fucking guns and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So why not combine those things and offer kind of like an all-inclusive 3-day camp where, and this is for beginners to advanced, where they get to learn the fundamentals and just get to spend some time on the range with guys that know what they're doing and really open their eyes on tactics and grappling. And like I keep telling people, I want people to think of this as an introduction to these things.
Yeah, it's basically, it's something we talked about last time you were down, and I think we all just kind of agreed, enough's enough, let's just do it,
Yeah.
And it's a 3-day immersion camp based around defensive, tactical pistol shooting, whatever you want to call it, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And, our form, I don't want to say our form, but our mindset of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu goes well beyond sport and competitive Jiu-Jitsu. It's really I got into Jiu-Jitsu, you got into Jiu-Jitsu to be able to defend ourselves and fight and do our job and do our profession and protect people,
Mm-hmm.
and points and medals and all that shit is an aftermath or afterthought that we do now because we made Jiu-Jitsu our life and our livelihood. But this focuses on the self-defense application of Jiu-Jitsu and wants, introduce these people that don't know how to shoot other than watching YouTube and don't know anything about Jiu-Jitsu other than watching YouTube or UFC, and give them the proper introduction.
Yeah. No, it's going to be really cool. And I've been getting hit up by a lot of people lately because all of I don't even know what you would call them, but the guys the big podcasters that everybody's listening to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd call them influencers or whatever, but like your Rogans and Jocko and Andy Stump, everybody is pushing jiu-jitsu.
As they should.
Yeah. Because all those guys got involved and then they realized what it did for their life. And they have the platform to reach out to people. So if you're training and you have a platform, guess what? You're talking about jiu-jitsu.
If you're worth a shit. Yeah. And going back to how we started, so go find a gym and start training. And here's the thing. Not all gyms are created equal.
Yeah.
Right? Not all professors, coaches are created equal. So if you're not sure and you're not really you don't understand what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is yet, you're just not sure, message one of us and tell us where you live, and we'll find you the best place for you to go train.
Yeah.
And
the other thing that I always recommend when people ask what to look for in a gym, dude, if there's 4 gyms in the city you live in, go train with each of them for a week or 2.
Yeah, try all of them.
Try all of them. See what's up with them. See who's there. See what the vibe's like. See how you're treated. All the little details on and off the mat. Even like when you send an email, what kind of response do you get? Does that person make you feel like a priority? All these little things really play into finding the right gym. And the only way you're going to know is if you reach out to all of them and just kind of do a recce,
Yeah.
And so, I think that camp is going to be fun because, shooting jiu-jitsu, the reality of it is you can only get so good in 3 days. But I'm looking at this as an opportunity to really expand people's minds,
Expose
them, and put them on the path.
Yes.
Because
that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, put them on the path, man. Because once you get good exposure to these things, it really shows you your deficiencies. It shows you how hard it is too. I think people that haven't been like high-level shooters or high-level grapplers, they don't understand all the little nuances and how difficult all the little details are. Like we were talking about at dinner yesterday, you were holding a spoon and using your trigger finger to effectively apply pressure to a trigger and showing how that spoon rotates all these different ways based on this grip, that grip, this trigger pull. And that's like a fucking lifetime of work to understand all those details.
Yeah, what'd they say? I'm hitting low left. I said, are you a right-handed shooter? Yeah. I said, you're milking the grip and you got frame drag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but maybe it's nice. No, just stop talking. Trust me.
And watch me hold this spoon and explain it to you,
You're
right?
doing this.
But dude, shooting's a big, I think everybody that has never shot before thinks that they can pick up a gun and be John Wick.
It's because of movies.
It is, man. And like the reality of it is, if you've never shot a pistol before, you shouldn't be confident hitting a target 7 meters away. You know, like
maybe statically standing in a range, not doing anything. Maybe you can like hit it, you know, and like
somewhere in the
make
E-type.
it look kind of like a shotgun blast.
Yeah.
Over 10 rounds. But if that's all you can do in a gunfight,
you're fucked.
You're going to die.
Yeah, dude. And so, I mean, I've brought this up on the podcast before, but like my mom carries a gun around in her purse that she's never trained with.
Yeah.
She's never even put rounds through it. You know, I think, I'll take that back. I took her out into the woods one time and she put like, and it's like a 38 revolver, right?
Yeah.
So
5-shot.
Yeah. And she put a couple rounds through it and now she carries that. And it's like, man, fucking scary, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and it's the same thing with, you know, most of our clients, students, members are men, right? You know, whether it's the Jiu Jitsu Academy or the shooting school, you know, and guys all think they can do a few things good, right?
Yeah.
All guys think they can fight. All guys think they can shoot. All guys think they can drive good, and all guys think they can please a woman. Like
I was wondering if you were gonna leave, if you were gonna leave that one out.
Fuck no,
of course not.
No, right? You just ask the guys; they'll tell you, right?
Yeah.
You know. So my whole
what
thing
about
is
if
like,
you ask the women?
Yeah, that's a different story, right? You know. And it's like I was having this conversation the other day. I was like, oh, you know, one of the guys. Oh, my brother used to fight all the time. He was a great fighter. I said, no, he was not. I said, what are you training? Well, he didn't. He was just a good fighter. I said, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never lost a fight.
He never lost a fight fighting drunk people at parties.
I said, that just means everyone that he ever got in a fight with was a shittier fighter than him or less tough than him. I said, he's not a good fighter. Trust me. So you want to see, come bring him here.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like, trust me, he's not a good fighter.
Well, and I've told the story a lot on this show. Like, I thought I was a good fighter.
Right.
Because I got in tons of fights in high school.
Same here.
And I won.
Same here.
And I was fit. Yep. And I had a good gas tank.
Right.
And it's like, oh, let's bring it on, you know? Like, and it gives you a false sense of security because you're beating up scrubs in the back of bars and shit like that.
Right.
And then when someone that knows how to fight gets their hands on you,
it's a different story.
It's a completely different story.
Yeah.
And it fucking was like, it was my awakening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
and you've done the same thing, you know, like I teach grappling at a police academy, you know, as well, you know, and I teach SWAT dudes and I teach all these, you know, veterans that have just gotten out of the military and whatnot at the police academy grappling. And after 10 minutes of day one, they're like, oh, all right. Yeah. This is, whatever this dude is doing to me and how he's grabbing me and throwing me around, it's different.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
And it's funny because our lives are just on a parallel course. Because I used to teach at the Washington State Police Academy before I worked for the port, and I would teach grappling and jiu-jitsu. And we would do, and I've heard they've since taken it away because they take away all the fucking good training, it seems like, especially in Washington State.
It's a shame. It's going to get more people killed, unfortunately.
So we used to do like a fight for life scenario. And in that scenario, you go in, and they're always changing the scenario, but this was like you go into a bar because they want you to evict a guy, you know, they want him criminally trespassed and taken out of the premises, and he's not going, and it turns physical. And so we are instructed to, obviously you're not fucking hurting anybody,
right?
But you take them down and you mount them and you're hitting them lightly. I mean, it's hard enough to where if you don't train and you've never sparred before, it's like being hit at a sparring speed.
Yeah.
So you're hitting them and you're beating them up. But the whole point of the drill is they have to fight their way out of it until they win. Like you want to build that winning rep. You want to get a winning rep in and teach them like, okay, you've been here 6 months now. And if you can trap and roll or you can shrimp and get your guard back. So if they started to do the correct things,
you let them work.
I would let them work. Exactly. Because let's be honest, dude, you could mount someone for the next 17 hours.
Right.
You know? And so we would let them work out, get back to their feet. Then the other training value that they're supposed to get out of this, if a dude has already shown you that he can beat your ass and you somehow get to your feet, it's time to go to a tool.
Yeah. Escalate that level of force.
Exactly. So you're expected to either be tased or even deadly force. If they can articulate deadly force, if it's a 100-pound girl that you were mounting and punching in the face, it's a deadly force scenario.
All day long.
And, dude, you'd be surprised. Like, I remember this one kid, I mounted him and was just, slapping him around a little bit. I allowed him to work his way back to his feet. And then they had a bunch of role players in the bar. They were like the patrons, right? And they started heckling him. And they're like, don't let that guy kick your fucking ass. You're a police officer. Take that guy down and arrest him. What are you fucking doing? Blah, blah, blah. And they'd get like kind of frazzled and be like, oh, and he shoots the sloppy ass double for more, right?
Yeah, just barely.
And I just fucking sprawl and drive his face into the fucking ground, and we go again.
Yeah.
Just let him work his way. He's shrimping. Okay, I'll let you get your guard back. Okay, he's kicking my hips away. He does a technical stand-up. Cool, you did everything right. Just pull your gun and shoot me, and the drill's over. Fuck that guy. Get him. And he's like,
another horrible double.
Dude. And it went on for like 10 or 15 fucking minutes, dude. And the guy was completely gassed, like dead.
Yeah.
And after the fucking scenario was over, he came up to me and was like, man, I really appreciate that. That was the first real fight I've ever been in. Oh, yeah. I said, bro, that wasn't a fight.
That wasn't a fight.
We're at the police academy. And
I'm role playing, bro.
Yeah, dude, that was a fucking training scenario, So, but with that said, training scenarios, you're not going to go out in the street and start picking fights. So you want to feel a fight, training scenarios are how we do it,
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why jiu-jitsu's so realistic and works the best, because we spar for real.
Yeah. Hard sparring. What was you showed me the video yesterday of you basically running a training scenario with a guy.
Oh yeah.
It was a concealed carry scenario, right? Yeah. So basically, just talk us through exactly like what you were setting up there.
So it was a show that we did that was released. It was an internet, web-based show, released on YouTube. And we would take role players. People could apply to be on the show. And we would take role players that didn't have a whole lot of formal training. And we'd design a scenario around one learning piece. And we would run them through that scenario without any training at all. Run them through the scenario. After the scenario was finished, we would debrief them, show them one piece that they could do and practice and learn to make it better. We'd take them to a range or do whatever, give them the very minimal training on that one learning piece, and then run them through a similar scenario that training would assist their outcome better.
Okay. How long was that process? Like
start to finish, like with one role player?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'd probably only train them maybe 30 minutes.
Okay, so it's just a quick,
a 5-minute scenario, 30 minutes of training, and a 5-minute scenario.
Got it.
Roughly.
Okay.
Yep.
What was the name of it if people want to look it up?
Yeah, so it was a show called First Person Defender.
Got it.
And it's all the seasons are on YouTube.
But the episode you showed me was basically he was concealed carry.
Yes, it's all based around concealed carry.
Okay, so each episode is like that.
Yes,
and then you present a scenario where they have to decide if they want to escalate to deadly force or not. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And you just decided you're in a red man suit, which if you don't know what that is, it's just basically a padded suit that you can fight somebody in, and they can go pretty hard at you, and you as the role player are pretty protected. Yeah. You can get wailed on pretty hard.
Yeah, you can get your bell rung.
Yeah.
You can get your bell rung, but I mean, you can close hand freaking wail the shit out of me. I'm pretty protected.
And he, as soon as you grabbed hold of him, he just fell to the ground and couldn't do anything.
And we talked that episode in particular, we were talking about it, right? Because we're down here in Kissimmee, Florida.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of questionable characters walking around in the middle of the road.
Yeah, if anyone's...
a lot of meth mouth.
Kissimmee? Is that how you say that?
Kissimmee, they say.
Kissimmee.
I used to say Kissimmee, and they laugh at me. It's Kissimmee, apparently.
We flew into Orlando, but we're in Kissimmee right now. And I'm going to guess and maybe I'm profiling people, and maybe I'm a fucking rude prick for saying this, but I'm going to guess that Kissimmee, Florida has a methamphetamine problem.
I'm going to second that guess. So I'm a rude prick also, you know?
But for two guys that have both been police officers, and other Greg still is a police officer. Yeah. This place has methamphetamine written all over it.
Yeah. So that episode I showed you, because we were talking about, was right after the guy on bath salts ate that police officer's face, or was eating the guy's face, eating the other guy's face.
And a police officer went up and shot him.
Police officer went up and shot him. It was right after that incident. Dude. So that's what I base that scenario around. I base a scenario around
just a crazy fucker high as shit
that at first look doesn't require deadly force. And look, if you could fight me and get away, cool. Fight me and get away. Very knowingly, I wasn't going to let that happen.
Yeah.
You know? And the whole point was, dude, if you're being attacked by someone who's bigger, stronger, more highly trained, you're getting injured or worn out.
Yeah, it's time to go to your weapon.
It's time to go to deadly force. It's called disparity of force. You know, like you said, a small female against you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna win in a fight. I don't care how badass they are. You know?
Yeah.
A 110-pound female isn't gonna beat a 207-pound jiu-jitsu black belt with cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
And that's
cauliflower ear is important.
That's a pre-incident indicator. Like, I come across you while I'm on duty doing my job, and you're trying to hurt me, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight you.
No. And again, I've talked about this. I had a scenario where a guy was all methed out, and I looked and I was like, oh, his ears are worse than mine. So this guy knows something.
Right.
And I just called him right out on it. Like, where do you used to train, you know?
Yeah.
And that whole bringing that up actually helped de-escalate the situation,
100%.
you know? But the point of bringing that story up again is there's crazy, high, drug addicted motherfuckers that know how to fight. Those people are out there. Yeah. And if you tell yourself they're not, like, just go train MMA at any gym for 6 months and see who comes in and out of there. It's a fucking motley crew. Yeah. And it's funny. And and I'm not even saying that like disparagingly. I'm just saying like it attracts all walks of life.
Yes.
There's thugs, there's cowboys, there's jocks, there's skaters, there's computer programmers, there's police officers. Like, in today's world, there's like a small percentage of every single different like demographic out there. They're like, I want to learn how to fight. Yeah. It's just so mainstream now, you know? And so you don't know who knows what anymore.
Right. Oh, he's basically a neurosurgeon that comes in his scrubs and changes over, you know, and then I got a bunch of SWAT cops. I got some Navy SEALs, some SWIC boat team guys, IT guys, mechanics, to, you know, former felons.
Yeah.
And they're all coming in and they all hug and slap hands and hug each other.
And that's what's so fucking awesome.
And they all kill each other.
Yeah. No, so like for anyone that's in the military, you go through boot camp with, you know, your platoon or your company of guys, and you make friends with a certain group of people, right? There's cliques in boot camp. And the first time you get leave, the drill sergeant says, here's the keys to the closet. You can go get your civilians on. You're going to get cut at 1800, and we better see you Sunday night at 2000, you know? I'll never forget it, because it's like all these dudes that are like my homies, right? Some of them have their fucking shirt tucked in, their Levi's pulled up to their belly button with a giant belt buckle and a cowboy hat. Then these other dudes are sagging their pants to the ground, looking like straight bangers from the hood. But we're all homies.
And you're all hanging out.
And we didn't even know that about each other, right. You know? Yeah. And so fast forward 10 years, I'm training at an MMA gym, and it's the same thing, because when you're at practice, you're in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know?
You're all in your fight shorts.
You're in your fight shorts and a t-shirt or a rash guard. Rash guards weren't even really a thing yet. This was 06, old school.
Shirt, bro.
Yeah, that's right,
style,
dude.
No shirt, dude.
And so after practice, this was at Charlie's Combat Club up in Everett, Washington. Shout out. The place is awesome. I remember one night we're like, dude, let's all go out to dinner afterwards or go grab a beer or something. And there's the exact same thing. Some guys were hicks. Some guys were bangers. Yeah. Some guys like just dressed like fucking nerds. it is what it is, you know?
But you guys all get down, so it don't
Yeah, I
matter.
know,
It doesn't
right?
matter,
Yeah.
man. Yep.
So, yeah, I forgot why I was going off on that tangent, but because you just don't know who knows what.
No, you don't. And you know, in like my academy, you know who the baddest mofo is out of that crew of people?
Me when I'm visiting.
Yeah, that's probably true. Obviously,
No.
When professor's there, he's the baddest.
Whatever.
Mofo. But like the nerdy neurosurgeon,
Yeah,
rolls in his scrubs with his little glasses on. Dude, he's a bad motherfucker. He tunes everybody up.
well, and like in the jiu-jitsu community, they've got themselves a name. They're called nerd assassins.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people that are like intellectual, that like to problem solve and think things through, or like guys that have like a mathematically driven brain,
They're good at it.
they're good at it.
John
because,
Danaher.
yeah, exactly.
Mikey Musumeci.
Yep. They use that like analytical thinking and they apply it on the mats.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, man. We saw a guy yesterday walking in a gi in a backpack, and his head was kind of hung low and he had glasses, and and I'm just being a judgmental prick, but he looked like a dude that would have got bullied all through school. And it's funny because I remember we looked at him and I said, see that guy? Nerd assassin right there. Because if someone tried to bully that guy, and I don't remember if I saw a belt or not, but regardless,
Right.
He's competing.
Yeah.
So he trains.
Yeah.
And he would fucking strangle you.
He was at least a blue belt because there's no white belts at Masters Worlds.
Yeah, that's right.
So
So,
there's minimum blue belt. You know?
and, you know, I always say a blue belt in the world of the blind, he with one eye is king.
Yes.
And so you don't have to be real good to perform real good against someone that knows nothing.
Yeah, a good blue belt should pretty much be able to institute their will in a self-defense street fight.
Yeah.
Against most people.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
well, before I take it another direction, you got anything else on jiu-jitsu? Because we're only at 37 minutes.
Oh my God.
We could talk about jiu-jitsu for a lot longer.
Come down to Louisiana. If you're in Baton Rouge, see our teammates, JM Modern Jiu-Jitsu, under Josh Mancuso, Professor Eric Raposo. In Baton Rouge, come see us, Vita Jiu-Jitsu.
And then also the Guns and Geese camp.
Oh, yeah. We should probably talk more about that.
Well, I mean, we touched on it quite a bit already, but we can go into it more. But I just wanted to say we started our own Instagram, and it's called Guns and Geese Official, and Guns and spelled out A-N-D, Geese Official. And what we want to do is this first camp sold out so fast, and we got people hitting us up saying, when's the next one? And can I get on a waiting list for this one? So we opened up an Instagram, and if you're interested at all, go follow that, because that's where we're going to be pushing out future dates and details on the seminars or the immersion camps and whatnot.
We are working on the next set of dates already.
Yep.
And making it better and better each time. And I think right now the next one we're planning to do again down in my hometown in Louisiana. But we are talking about taking it on the road as well.
Yeah. So I know a lot of people up in Seattle who are like, when's the Seattle one going to happen?
Yeah.
And the answer is as soon as we can figure out a range and just the logistics of running it.
Yeah.
So,
but they will be going on. It's going to be awesome.
yeah. We're at such an interesting time in history where people that have never even considered owning a gun suddenly feel like they need one. I was watching a video online just a couple days ago, and it was actually that it's called Fight for the Soul of Seattle, and Como News 4 did a documentary.
Oh, this is that documentary you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so they did Seattle is Dying. That was the first one. And I don't care who you are, if you live in Seattle or not, if you're looking for something to watch, that's an eye-opener. And it just shows you how fast poor leadership can destroy a city. You wouldn't think, I don't even know how many people are on Seattle City Council, but between the city council and the mayor, the city's absolute shit inside of 5 years.
Yeah.
So they did a documentary on that. And then they did a follow-up one, and it's called Fight for the Soul of Seattle. And I'm halfway through it right now. But there was a 50 to 60-year-old woman who's like, I'm looking for a gun. I need to purchase a gun because this city is not what it used to be. So when you have 60-year-old women that have never been, she even said too, she's like, I never thought, I don't like guns. Guns aren't part of me, but I feel like they need to be now.
You're desperate.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. And these people are cheated. And I feel like our culture, our society, Hollywood movies are cheating these people because the gun is only a part of the equation. And honestly, it's a pretty small part. It's a pretty small part of the equation. I think
it's a small part too.
And I'm not talking about, you need bullets. I get it. You need bullets too. That's another small part of the equation. But training, situational awareness. I personally think that older lady would probably be better suited spending that money instead of on guns, a gun and bullets on a week-long, on a week-long situational awareness and like urban escape and evasion sort of class.
Yeah.
Learn how to identify pre-incident indicators and what to do if you feel like something's setting on, or you recognize one of these pre-incident indicators, pre-attack indicators, and how to drive better, how to not get blocked. We talked about this week, how to offset your vehicle, leave yourself an out. What are the rules? How do you stop in traffic at a traffic light?
Yeah.
That would suit her better than the firearm.
And a little caveat off of that is like, there's a balance with everything you do in life.
Of course.
And there's I know guys that won't use urinals because they're like, you're exposing your back and your pants are down. It's tactically unsound. It's like, I'm not going to limit where I can go piss.
No, I'm going to piss. And if you try to attack me in a urinal, I'm going to fight you with my dick out. It is what it is. I mean, it's going to suck, but it is what it is,
But I mean, you can learn these things and kind of tighten up your shot group and become more aware without, I just say this because I don't want people to think like people are out there being paranoid. It's like, no. You're not paranoid at all. You're just a little more dialed in. Your head's on a swivel. You kind of know what's going on around you. And just paying attention to that a little bit more than you do normally will have profound consequences.
Massively. You know, I don't know if this is something that you guys did in Ranger Battalion, but you're planning a mission. You plan for really two courses of action, right? Your most likely course of action and your most lethal course of action.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I try to tell people in life. We need to plan for what's most likely, but we also need to plan for what's most lethal. So having a concealed carry permit, carrying a pistol, training regularly with that pistol so that you are competent with it. And I don't mean going to the range once a month and shooting 10 rounds on a bullseye. That's a good thing because we're covering that most lethal course of action.
Yeah.
But the most likely course of action is you getting hurt in a vehicle accident. So learn how to drive for real. Learn how to, I'm a good driver. No, you suck at driving. You just have never been put in a situation where your driving skill has been put to the test.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the same thing. I'm a good fighter. No, you're a shitty fighter. You've just never been put in a situation where you're, and it's the same thing. Like really learn how to drive. Go to a racing school.
Yeah. And that's actually really fun too.
It's a lot of fun, and you would be amazed at what you take away after a 2 or 3 day racing school. Amazed.
No, you're right, dude. And like working on slick tracks and stuff like that.
Yeah, skid pads, stuff like that,
I had an incident, 2 months ago when I drove out to Kalispell to do cleared hot where I hit black ice.
Oh, yeah.
And bro, I was going 70. And I was in my 4Runner. Supposed to be pretty good fucking winter vehicles and for driving on snow and ice, but it doesn't matter.
It's ice.
It's ice.
Ice is ice, bro. It's slippery for real.
And I just started like as my ass end started going out, just trying to slowly counter steer towards where the ass was going.
Eyes forward, look where you want to go, not where you're going. And
dude, I remember I fucking got the biggest adrenaline dump because I started sliding into the oncoming lane.
Yeah.
And I was on a fucking highway. And so I didn't even touch the brakes. I just let the car come to a complete stop. And then it was like, I pulled my hoodie off because I was already sweating.
Yeah.
It felt like an eternity, but the whole incident probably took 17 seconds or something or less,
Oh, yeah.
And I was just fucking sweating. Like,
and this is one of the things, because I grew up mostly in the Northeast.
Uh-huh.
You know, we had snowy winters and ice and snow and slush and all that. So that's where I learned to drive. And you know, when I see people on the range shooting there, and they're doing this and they're shooting the gun with one eye closed, I said, look, you got to learn how to shoot with both eyes open. You can't shoot with one eye closed. No. It's, well, I mean, look, my group is good. Yeah, cool. So the next time you hit a patch of ice in your car and you're skidding out and sliding and about to spin,
close one eye.
As you're trying to counter steer and figure, I want you to go like this. You're not gonna be able to do it. The body's not gonna let you do it. That's our body's natural reaction to life or death situations is to go boom and see everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Looking for what? Color contrast and movement.
Color contrast and movement, bro. You know, but that's why in a gunfight, that's why hit ratios in police shootings are usually so horrible, because they shoot to pass a qual in a
with
police
one eye
academy,
closed.
and they shoot like that because it's easier to pick up your sights with one eye closed.
Way easier.
But under stress, your body's not going to allow you to do that. You know? No,
that's a good point, man. And even, I mean, it's like anything, no matter how fucking good you are, I mean, I'll find myself not closing my other eye, but it just starts to squint a little bit, and then you're like, hey, motherfucker.
Bro, that's the over 40 move, right?
Is that what we call that?
I hate to break it to you, bro. My eyes are not what they were a couple of years ago, man. And every once in a while, I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
That's why I shoot a red dot now.
Well, I have a red dot. I'm just not shooting a red dot because the price of ammo's through the roof, and I can't fucking find 9mm anywhere for a reasonable enough price. You can find it, right?
Yeah.
But for a reasonable enough price to where I feel comfortable burning through 10 mags out of the range. Yeah. That's just going to hurt my heart, you know?
Oh yeah. And your wallet.
And then the other side of it is like, cause I have some ammo, but if it's hard to replenish, I'm fucking nervous to shoot that up. You know, sure. You might need that.
I'm fortunate. I'm shooting agency ammo. You know.
Yeah. That was
still there's still some perks to being a SWAT cop.
Nice, dude. So, dude, I want you to tell some of the stories that we were talking about off air. Was it yesterday of when you got hired to do the anti-piracy contracts? Yeah. And I don't know what you can tell and what you can't, but it's real fucking interesting because I remember when the pirate thing was like, it was mainstream news.
Mainstream, bro. It was big.
It was big. Yeah. I mean, they made a fucking movie about it and shit.
Yeah.
You know? And so was that the event where everybody's like, okay, we need security teams?
Yes. So the Captain Phillips thing, the Maersk, Alabama.
Yeah.
Right? Maersk,
that was
Alabama.
The thing that kind of set it off?
That's what set it off.
When did that occur?
Don't quote me, but that was like first quarter 2009, I want to say.
Okay.
Cause May, I want to say my first pump over there was May 2009.
Okay.
So yeah, Maersk, Alabama happened. You know, Somali pirates boarded the Maersk, Alabama and took over the ship, and then took the captain, the master of the ship, Captain Phillips, hostage, and escaped the ship in a little lifeboat vessel. And then obviously all three pirates were killed by
Navy
SEAL snipers.
So when you say escaped the ship, meaning they got back onto their little skiff that they assaulted with?
They launched one of the orange torpedo-looking life vessels.
Oh, that was part of that.
That was part of the Maersk. Yeah, part of the Maersk lifeboats.
So what was their objective then?
So I can't speak completely clearly about what was going on there because obviously I wasn't there. I wasn't part of that operation. I wasn't there.
But I mean, so overall though, are they capturing people and then demanding ransoms?
No. Ideally, overall, their main scheme is that they are taking over the vessels, boarding and capturing the vessels, and then they're demanding ransom for the vessel. So those ships, those big sea cargo ships, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's a bunch of different types, and they all have different cargo. But as a general rule, a ship like that costs operationally to run a day $40,000 to $50,000
just for
a day, just to run the vessel.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
And that means, paying a crew daily.
Yep.
That's on the ship.
Fuel,
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. To
Yep.
run a ship that size costs about $40,000 to $50,000 to run. So vessels, instead of going around the southern coast, the southern tip of Africa to come up into the Middle East and stuff, they would go into the Med and then in through the Suez Canal, down the Red Sea, and through the Gulf of Aden.
Got it.
And then come out into the Indian Ocean, right?
Time is money.
Time is money.
And
it
in
cut
this
down,
scenario, lots of money.
Lots of money. And it cut down, I want to say, if I remember correctly, and again, if any of you guys work on merchant vessels or don't roast
That guy
me.
doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Lying, right?
Yeah.
Right. If I remember correctly, speaking to some of the crew members, it basically added a week to a trip to go down around the southern coast of Africa.
Got it.
To get back up, right?
So yeah,
so you're saving 7 days at, let's do easy math, at $50,000 a day.
Yeah.
Do the math. Ready? Carry the 2 times 3.14 pi, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, and also these cargo vessels are just running back and forth.
And that's it.
You
So
know
they're
what I'm saying?
dropping cargo.
So every trip you're saving 7 days,
right,
at $50K a day. That adds up fast.
And not only that, but they're bidding on picking up cargo, because anytime that ship is running empty,
they're losing money.
Cargo, they're losing money. So
the faster they can get back to places.
So they'll say, they're leaving from, like for our example, they're leaving from Houston with a certain cargo to go into Kuwait.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked on a lot of vessels that were moving military hardware into Kuwait.
Okay.
So say whatever, they're moving hardware into Kuwait, right? They leave Houston, they go up across the Atlantic, they go through the Med, through the Suez Canal in Egypt, down the Red Sea, through the Gulf of Aden, up into the Persian Gulf, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kuwait drop their cargo. If they're bidding right, they already have cargo to pick up there.
Got it.
Or maybe from Kuwait, they run right across to Mumbai and then pick up cargo in Mumbai and then come back. Or,
whatever.
As an example. So they're constantly bidding and trying to pick up other cargo and crews. So, I didn't work for Maersk. Maersk had a sole source contract with Trident Group, which was basically run by all former team guys.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah,
Trident Group.
I know, right? Yeah.
Is there a SEAL company in existence
without a trident
that doesn't have a trident in it?
Are there some hair gel companies, suntan lotion companies? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I love you team guys. Don't worry.
So what was the area that was like primarily getting hit?
So there were a couple of areas. The coolest parts of the whole trip were us getting to the vessel. That's the wildest stories.
What do you mean getting to the vessel?
These vessels port, or they port in certain ports in Egypt. They port in Yemen.
Okay.
They port in off the coast of certain countries in Africa, and we have to travel through those countries as civilians to get to these vessels.
So you're working for a company that contracts you out, and they're like, hey, on this date, you got to be at the fucking port of Yemen and board this vessel.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
And so we, when I started working for a newer company, and me and a buddy were basically kind of brought on, and we were plank owners in it, kind of became team leaders. So we were in charge of meeting and developing relationships with a lot of the expediters in these what I will consider semi-permissive, not super friendly to American or white folk.
Yeah.
Muslim countries. And we had to find these expediters and pay the money and grease some palms and get through these customs, because at the time we were like moving hardware through these countries.
Uh-huh.
And I have a story where a buddy of mine spent 8+ hours in a prison in one of those countries and had to fake a phone call from the State Department, and we had to get him out and this whole 9 yards. Like,
have you heard my story about spending time in a Jordanian jail?
No. Please do tell.
No, that's not.
No, it's not a podcast.
That's not a story for the podcast.
Roger that.
But we actually did contact State Department.
Yeah.
Through a sat phone.
Yeah.
And they were instructed to release us from custody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll tell you that off air because there's some there's some OPSEC stuff there.
So.
But yeah, it was like 8 hours in a Jordanian jail.
And that's similar.
And I thought the rest of my life was going to be spent in a Jordanian jail.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of, we had a lot of close calls like that, man. Like situations like we flew in and out of Cairo a lot. We spent a lot of time in and out of Cairo. And this was right before Cairo was still fairly safe, but fairly.
Yeah.
You know, I use that term loosely.
And people don't realize, if you've never lived abroad or traveled, when you're in third world countries, their law enforcement gets to do whatever they want to.
Oh yeah.
You don't have due process. You don't have Miranda. You don't have the fucking any of your rights that you have stateside. Right. Is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, tell us this. Yes. No. Okay. You're going in a cage.
Yeah. Beaten.
Yeah.
Butt stroked with AKs, you know, like the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. I mean, you get like, Americans see a little bit of that when they go to Mexico because the Mexican police, they're just extorting you though. Right. You know what I mean?
This is a whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level.
Especially when a bunch of white dudes with some tattoos and necks and muscles show up in a Muslim country. They immediately think we're, you know, basically intelligence officers. Well,
and they're kind of right.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you know, like we would do certain things to, I mean, you know, the deal, to counter surveillance. We would have a pretty strong counter surveillance, posture when we go into these countries and, you know, do things, tag our rooms and do SDRs and all this stuff that we won't really talk about on here, but our rooms are always entered. You know, our laptops, tablets, you know, always messed with. We had, you know, intelligence officers come up to us at bars and try to, you know, talk to us, get information from us, you know. Any
hot chicks that just like Americans?
No.
Okay.
No. There were some
hot chicks. You hear that one all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, in the Muslim countries, not so much.
Yeah, it's true.
You know. Yeah. It was mostly guys, but
so I want to hear more about being on the water though.
So being on the water.
So you described yesterday how they have like this 100-foot vessel.
Yeah, how the pirates operate. So
talk them through that, because you said it's hundreds and hundreds of miles offshore.
Oh yeah. So first thing, like, I will say it was a very, very cool gig. It was a super cool gig. We would be out on the water, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Before getting to port. We'd spend a couple of days in port. They'd offload all the stuff. They'd unload whatever they unload, and then we'd be back on the vessel for 2 to 3 weeks. Right. So about a month to a month and a half out on the ship. These ships are huge. I mean, they're floating cities, you know.
Were they nice? Like,
some were nicer than others.
I guess that's, yeah.
Some were nicer than others. We only were on American flagged vessels. So the American flagged vessels are pretty nice. Vessels that are flagged under other countries don't have to have some of the same stuff. So like we had our own estate rooms for the most part. Some rooms we had to bunk together. Some vessels we had to bunk together. Some vessels had a nice gym.
That was my next question.
If they didn't have a gym, we made do.
Yeah.
You know, like we'd bring our CrossFit rings, and we'd have the bosun's mate weld us some dumbbells and stuff together out of ship parts, you know.
Did any of them have a mat room?
No mat room. No mat rooms.
Shame on them.
Yeah, exactly. No mat rooms.
Every deployment to Iraq that I've ever went on, we built a mat room somewhere. Yeah. You know, that's just part of deploying. Every base has a mat room, but not the case on the ocean.
Yeah, not on the ocean, not the case. What we did a lot on the ocean actually is we would, one of the guys on one of my teams was really big into Eskrima. So we had training sticks. We'd pack the little bamboo training sticks, and training knives, and we would swing sticks and knives like nonstop, you know.
Okay.
And fight that way. So we got some training in, but you know, it was really cool. We would board. So the journey would start is we would board the vessel underway, right? So we get on a little shuttle boat.
Okay, so you drive to, or you fly into whatever port.
Right. We fly in, I'll just say Cairo, right? We fly into Cairo. We get with all our gear for a month and a half, gear, bag. So, you know, we've got, I don't know, 100-pound duffel bag or whatever.
Yeah.
And we go to the port and we get onto a little shuttle boat, which is like, I don't know, maybe a 30-foot boat, you know, big open tail. Covered cabin up front, big open tail, flat tail, and there comes our vessel, and it's cruising through the canal, Suez Canal, right? And you know the deal. Anytime you're in a little canal that goes from really, really big water to small water to big water,
A lot of turbulence.
Yeah, and we're talking whoosh. Well, these vessels don't move at all, but our boat's going up and down like freaking crazy. These ships are traveling, I don't know, 12 knots. So it doesn't seem fast until you pull up next to it and have to touch it in waves that are 4 to 6 feet in height. And you've got 100-pound ruck on, and now you're climbing a caving ladder or a rope ladder to get freaking up to the weather deck. And the boat's touching and bouncing, and you're like, fuck, man, if I fall in the drink.
Get crushed, too.
Yeah, if I fall in the drink, I'm done. If I fall in the drink, I'm fucking done. That's it. You know?
Well, yeah, no one's coming to get you.
Yeah, I'm done, you know, and then you get on the vessel and, you know, all good, right? But then you get through the port and you're out in the middle of the ocean, as far as we're well over the horizon. So as far as the eye can see, you don't see anything. You want to talk about dark nights, like,
I bet it's fucking beautiful.
It's amazing. It's weird. It's like, it's amazing and terrifying at the same time. Because all you think is like, man, all I got to do is like slip and fall into that. I'm gone forever.
Yeah, dude.
Forever.
No
one's going to find you.
Except some sea monster.
Yeah. No one's going to find you. You're going to die from exhaustion and someone's going to come eat you.
Yeah, those are guarantees.
You know,
right?
like, yeah, you know.
Maybe when you're alive or not, but it's going to happen.
That's going to happen. That's like a for sure. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, so, you know, without talking too much, because I know there's still teams out there doing stuff, but, you know, obviously we'd have a team of guys and we'd have a rotation so guys could get rest and guys were on watch. And it was massive periods of absolute boredom.
Yeah.
With 10 minutes of like scramble, maybe some excitement, and then massive periods of boredom. But it was super cool. And yeah, the way the pirates operate for those at least, and my information is dated. So if there are guys that are still out there doing piracy work and TTPs have changed, you know, again, don't judge me, because this was 2009 to about 2012 time frame is when I was doing it.
Or if I have any fans that are pirates actual, like, that's not how we fucking do shit anymore. That's not how we do
it. Yeah, exactly.
Send me a DM. Let me know how you fuck things up now.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Come on. We could probably make you a lot more profitable. You know?
Yeah. So, yeah, but yeah, talk them through what you talked to me about. Like,
so yeah, we're hundreds of miles off the coast, you know, and these pirates operate out of old, you know, mostly like old Russian fishing vessels that could be, you know, a 70 foot fishing vessel, probably. They're just hammocks. It's like old pirates. It's like the old pirate days, like hammocks just stacked through it, and they'll sleep freaking 30, 40 dudes on it, 50 dudes on it, you know? And then they tow all their little skiffs behind it. And the skiffs are 20-foot skiffs, 20-ish foot skiffs, you know, little outboard motor, big metal caving ladder, you know, on it, so they can hook onto the rails and weather deck and whatnot. And they load up with AKs and RPKs and PKMs and RPGs, and they put a tarp over it, and they wait for vessels to come by that they can see under binoculars, or on the radar of their mothership, what they call the mothership.
Mm-hmm.
And then they launch anywhere 3 to 7 is in my experience, 3 to 7 skiffs at a time. And usually they send one into probe. And if they don't spy any armed security or they're not engaged, then the rest of them all come in an attacking position.
Just swarm them.
Them. And usually the way they do is they fire on the vessel immediately. They fire on the vessel.
Just to fucking spook everybody, get everybody afraid.
Yeah, the vessel to basically heed too, you know? And then they get up next to it, hook a ladder up, climb on board, and then they take the bridge.
That's fucking nuts,
and
dude.
That's the way they do it. And like, you know, if they are engaged, they all have radios and stuff on them. So if they are engaged, usually they immediately start dumping the weapons over the side into the water. And they radio NATO forces that patrol the shipping lanes in those areas.
And just say what? They're
fishermen.
fishermen.
They're fishermen, and they were fired on by whatever vessel.
God, dude. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you want to play the game, let's play the game.
Well, yeah, it's for sure. So, yeah, SOP, like what we were talking about, SOP was if we engaged a skiff, everybody died. Everyone on the skiff died. We would start with the biggest, baddest weapon system. So if a guy had an RPG or a PKM, they were the first one to get it. Then the driver got it next to kill the boat in the water. And then we just went outside in.
Man. I mean, I've had a couple buddies that have worked these contracts, and they all say the same thing. A lot of boredom.
Tons of boredom.
A lot of boredom.
I had a really good tan, bro.
Yeah. Probably just walking around in Ranger panties the whole time.
Ranger panties, dude. All day long, Ranger panties. That was it.
But just like you described it, that's how I've heard it before, is like tons and tons of boredom with intermittently some of the most excitement you could fucking imagine. And dude, like I've always said, I would take a fucking 6-month rotation on one of those boats just to sink one Somali pirate boat. You know what I'm saying, dude? It would be totally fucking worth it. Like I would just tell myself, okay, you're doing time right now. You can tell yourself you're in fucking prison. I don't care. But you're going to get to sink a boat full of fucking scumbags.
You don't sink those boats, but you can kill everyone in them.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Those boats don't sink. They're like Boston whalers, man. Like you could cut it in half.
Oh, so what do they have, foam cores?
Yeah, they don't sink at all. Like you could plug it with 50 cal rounds. It's just neutrally buoyant. You can chop it up into pieces and it just floats there. So, but yeah, and you know, like with the ship's radar, right? These radar systems on these vessels are awesome. And I believe it's called AWS, right? I don't remember what that stands for, but every actual like registered vessel has to have an AWS number, is I think what it was, whatever it's called, right?
Yeah.
They have to have a number. So
when that vessel pings, you can see who it is.
You see who it is, right? And you can click on it.
And is that like kind of an international rule or?
Yeah, okay. An international rule. So all these vessels from all different, we could see who they were basically. So if a vessel came up on the radar without that number, you know,
yeah,
we're like super sketch, right? That's our first indicator. And then the vessels, the skiffs are so small that sometimes the radar, depending on the sea state, sometimes the radar didn't pick them up.
Oh, so when you're referencing seeing ships, you're talking about the mothership?
The mothership, yeah,
okay.
yeah. And we'd start looking for skiffs. So if we pinged a mothership without an AWS number, we would now start scanning for the skiffs, because the skiffs wouldn't always pick up on the radar depending on how rough the sea state was.
Yeah.
And that's when we got on. You know, hey, the master, whoever was running the bridge, would call us up. We'd look at it. They'd give us a distance and direction, and we would start scanning the horizon. And then if we saw skiffs, we'd all muster. Can
you talk about what weapon systems you guys were running?
We had a variety of weapon systems. Primarily, our weapon systems were M4s, or civilian version M4s.
Okay.
All civilian weapons. Believe it or not, that's mostly what we ran. Because most of the time, like we had to positively identify weapons before we could engage anyone.
So how far out typically before you are greenlit?
Maximum 300, I would say about.
Yeah.
Maximum 300. Because usually their guns are kept under tarps until they get close enough to really do some damage with them anyway. So they'd usually come in, and we'd wait and then we'd see it. So about 300.
Okay.
Right? So M4s we had a lot, and then it was kind of hodgepodge. You kind of had to take what you could get, you know.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
So there were a couple of,
I mean,
a couple of vessels we had 50 cal Barretts on, and a couple of vessels we had like some bolt action 308 Remington 700 type.
Yeah.
With glass on it and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Even going to Iraq in 2004, right? So it was new to Iraq, or the war was new in Iraq, I should say. Trying to get weapon systems. I remember trying to get them out of New York through customs. And then I don't know the exact route that they would take coming to Baghdad, but they were getting fucking tangled up, and we had to acquire our fucking weapons.
Solder City.
Yeah, to run our contract locally, you know? So we'd find interpreters and be like, hey, and I mean, fucking, you remember back in the day, the State Department contracts where you would literally have suitcases full of $100 bills.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude, the first teams were running little shorty AKs that they got off the local market.
Yeah,
MP5s.
I fucking hated all those guns too.
Horrible.
All the local guns were shit.
Horrible.
Like, my buddy Toby did the show. He quit Triple Canopy over that because he's like, you want me to run this? You want me to run an old fucking CZ? When you put it in the holster, that was a Kydex holster for a Glock 19, it would depress the magazine release. Yeah. So by putting your gun in the holster, the mag falls out. Yeah. He's like, this is fucking like amateur hour. You guys are unit guys. What's going on? Well, our weapons aren't here.
Hey, but
so what are you going to do?
That's part of being a unit guy is, you go to the shit and you make do.
You make it work.
You make it work.
Yeah.
Dude, me and one buddy, we did a gig in Africa, in the Ivory Coast area. Pretty bad area, you know. That's where Liberia is and Sierra Leone and all that shit in the Ivory Coast. And we had to get in the country, no weapons. We had a contact, a source there that was going to get us our guns. And we found a steakhouse, like a nicer steakhouse in the area that we were living in. It was like supposed to be the nice steakhouse. And we smuggled 2 steak knives out. And we went back to our rooms and we used cardboard and duct tape to fashion sheaths for those steak knives. And we carried those steak knives around IWB for like the first 2 days until we linked up with our source, and we carried those steak knives to the deal to get our guns in case we had to freaking murk these dudes.
Fuck all that, dude. Did I ever tell you about my buddy that worked for, I believe it was Firestone Tire? Did I tell you this story? No. So their rubber manufacturing plant is in Liberia.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome place. Great vacation spot.
Yeah. And so for whatever reason, and I don't know like if there's like a political reason behind this, or if the people there are just destructive motherfuckers, or a combination of both, but they would take jars, like a mason jar full of hydrochloric acid. They would break into the facility and they would throw that into the vat of curing rubber.
Right.
And then the whole vat is done.
Fucked it. Yeah.
It's done. And so obviously you're trying to fucking make rubber and they're preventing you from doing that. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So they hired former special ops guys. Same thing. Like, I mean, I don't know what contract you were working over there, but these companies need help. Who are you going to fucking hire to do this shit? Right? So my buddy, I call him Caveman. So we'll just keep it at that for now. Right. He gets over there and he's a former Force Recon dude, squared away. And they put him in charge, like the whole project. They're like, we want you to build a guard force. We want you to build the shifts and like assign supervisors, and just the whole thing fell onto his lap, right? No guns though.
Yeah.
No guns.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean no guns? He goes, dude, we can't acquire weapons over here. It is what it is. He goes, so I'm carrying like a K-bar, and then I got this big club that's like 5 feet long that I had someone like put a bunch of metal spikes on the end. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He's like, bro, I'm not exaggerating. And this is a guy that I worked with in Iraq for years.
Yeah.
So I can vouch for him.
Right. Yeah.
He's telling me the truth.
Yeah.
Right. He goes, bro, it's straight up like Braveheart. Like they get a band of people to try and break in. And I've built a band of people that I'm paying to defend the place.
Yeah.
And it's clubs and knives and spears. And he's like, dude, we fucking get it on, dude. He's like, I've been killing dudes with K-bars. You should come out here. And that's when I realized I wasn't quite as hard as I thought I was, dude. Because I was like, bro, you can have fun with that shit. I'm good. Yeah. I think I'll stick with contracts so I can have an M4. Yeah. And he's like, all right, well, we're always negotiating, trying to get weapons on the contract. So if we get guns, I'll call you. Right? Yeah. But dude, he calls me. You know what? I'm telling the story on there. I don't know if I should or not. He calls me and he goes, hey, bro, I need you to look into extradition treaties between Liberia and the United States, because it's getting fucking crazy here, dude. And we're doing some crazy shit. Yeah. And I was like, okay, dude, fuck, let me fucking check it out. Right. And my wife was with me at the time and we had just started dating. Right. And he goes, and this is why I won't say his real name. We're going to leave it at Caveman. Yeah. He goes, well, we caught somebody and we're interrogating him. And we're trying to figure out, like, you know, who's breaking in and who's responsible for
coordinating.
Yeah, who's coordinating and shit. And he goes, so he goes, I'm fucking done with this shit, dude. He goes, I had guys get a bunch of hydrochloric acid and they're thrown in their eyes last night. We're going to figure out who the fuck's funding this and who's in charge. So I hear him fucking started a chainsaw. And dude, this is on speakerphone. And my fucking wife, who I was literally dating for like a month. Yeah. He goes, so yeah, dude, we got to figure this shit out. And he's like, the chainsaw's going off. And then I hear fucking scream, like a blood curdling scream. Right. Yeah. And I was like, all right, click.
Hey bro, can we talk at another time? Like, can we talk when you're finished?
So dude, I fucking hang up and my wife's like, so these are the type of people you're friends with, huh? Yep. And she married me. So
there you go.
So what does that tell you, you know? Dude. But yeah, dude, people don't realize there's fucking third world crazy shit going on in Africa. At least there was in...
Right now.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Dude, right now.
But that story, let me try and fucking put a timeline on this. That story was probably 2006, right? Yeah. Killing dudes with spears and chainsaws in 2006. Yeah. Like... And it's kind of funny how, I mean, there's always violent shit going on in Africa and fucking entire tribes of people being hacked up with machetes and shit. And you don't really hear a peep about that.
No, people have no idea. People here in America have no fucking clue. None.
Uh-huh. And bro, I wouldn't either if I hadn't built a network inside of the special operations community.
Right, for sure. You know? But you've witnessed what other cultures and countries are like and can do to one another. And yeah, Africa's rough for sure. But I mean, that happens way closer to our home than people, you know, that stuff goes down in Mexico.
Yeah.
All the time. You know, I've been doing some work down in like Central America, you know, places, countries that a lot of Americans travel to for vacation regularly. What they don't see is the non-resort areas, the inner city areas, the all-inclusive resorts, surf towns that they go to. People are getting kidnapped, beheaded, fucking lit on fire, you know.
Bro, there's
body parts chopped off and sent back to family members.
There's a video out there, and it's from Mexico, and it's cartel shit, right? Where they tied a guy up, put him on the ground, and pulled his pants down and let a pit bull eat his dick. And dude, I'm telling you, it's the worst video you've ever seen in your life.
How do you train a pit bull to do that?
Dude, I don't know. It's funny you say that because I was, like, it ripped his balls and his dick off and ate them. Oh, and I'm just like, man. Dude, fuck, man. Oh, there's some people out there. Like, I would do some gnarly shit to people under the right circumstances. Right. Yeah. Outside of like fucking abducting my kids.
Yeah. I don't have a dick eating pit bull either. So, I mean, I don't know how you train a dog to do that. But
well, I'm getting a new Malinois. There you go. Yeah. Maybe I can train him.
They don't call them alligators for nothing, dude.
Oh, dude. Another thing about my buddy on that rubber Firestone tire contract. He said all the locals were like, there was some fable of a swamp monster. Yeah. And I guess they're like, super superstitious. So like he fucking, I don't know if he like talked to his guards or his interpreters or whatever, but there was like this thing that everybody feared.
Yeah.
So he ordered a whole fucking costume in an outfit to fucking look like whatever this fucking entity is that they're afraid of. And he would wear that during interrogations, dude.
Dude, that is awesome.
Dude, it's fucking crazy, right?
Awesome. Yeah.
So, yeah, dude, you give a force recon guy fucking project manager.
The Rougarou, man. The Rougarou.
You're going to see some fucking crazy shit going on, dude.
So...
All right, I see you wanted to tell a story, dude. Let's hear it.
So let me just first off state that I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, right? I was not party to this, but there was a time where there were some homicide detectives, and if they were interrogating someone, a murder suspect, right, they'd have, whoever the homicide detective was interrogating the murder suspect, like, look, all right. Just relax. Can I get you something to drink? All right, cool. I'll be right back. What you want? Dr. Pepper? Whatever. He'd leave the room, and a guy in a giant bunny suit with a giant carrot that may or may not have had like a wiffle ball bat stuffed inside the carrot would go into the room and beat the fuck out of the dude. Beat the fuck out of him. And then come out of the room. Dude be sitting there laying all lumped up, whelped up. And the homicide detective would come back in with his Dr. Pepper. Like, bro, what's the matter? What happened? You good? Well, just talk to me. Just talk to me.
Dude.
And this went on for a while, bro.
Just fucking with people.
Yeah. And this went on for a while, And
let me guess that someone got wind of that and shut that shit down.
Until finally a judge was like, guys, if I hear another story about a giant fucking bunny rabbit beating him to death with a carrot, there's going to be problems.
Dude, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Man, what you were telling me a story earlier today. And I remember I said, dude, we got to tell that on the podcast. And it was a story you even said. You said, hey, I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, but I heard.
Shit.
Oh, it was, fuck. I don't like trying to recall stuff when we're recording. But it was, it was about unit guys doing stuff. Yeah.
Oh, the Norris stand stuff.
Yeah. And so,
yeah, early again, like I said, this is just all stuff that I heard about. But you were up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
freaking a mountain city of Vikings up in the northern part of Afghanistan.
Yeah. And so I mean, I can say what you had heard is that there were special operation forces basically posing as tourists.
Yeah.
To just
mountaineers.
To like have their, just their cover story for what they're doing in Afghanistan.
Super early days.
But dude, Afghanistan used to be a tourist destination.
Oh yeah.
People would go there for fucking, go fucking hike around the Hindu Kush. That was like a fucking hippie thing to do. Do
you know who Tommy Caldwell is? You follow rock climbing at all?
No.
So Tommy Caldwell is a very, very famous professional rock climber.
Is he the guy that got abducted?
Yeah. You ever hear that story?
I read that book.
Holy fuck.
Tell the story though, because it was a good one.
So it was a long time ago, but himself and at the time his girlfriend, Holly something I think, and one other guy were off mountaineering and climbing.
Were they, what is it, Uzbekistan or something? Where were they?
They were right there on like the border of like no man's land, like Afghanistan, Pakistan, whatever's right fucking there.
Some other stand.
Yeah, other stand, right? And they're in like super, super rugged, like no one lives up there, mountaineering, climbing fucking mountains, bro.
Yep.
And you're the least likely spot to find them. They came across some freaking AK wielding freaking terrorists.
Yep.
That took them hostage and were hiking them up to one of their outposts. And they hiked for days and they got to a point on one, and these are pro rock climbers. So like they're mountain goats, dude.
Good athletes.
Yeah, super good athletes. And it got to a point where they were left with like one guard with an AK, and they were climbing a pretty technical, treacherous part of the mountain. And Tommy Caldwell specifically was like, I remember listening to him recall the thing, and he's like, I knew if we were going to get out of this alive, this was the only time.
Yeah, this was my opportunity.
This was my opportunity. And he's like, I just fucking booted him off the edge of the mountain. Fucking killed him.
Didn't he hit him with a rock? I think he might have smashed him with a rock. Because, and maybe again, like this whole podcast is just us talking shit
about cool shit
that we're vaguely remembering. So when you go back and review the facts and you talk shit about us, that's fine. But the reason that I remember that is because in an interview afterwards, he talked about how hard it was to fucking do that.
Yeah.
And it like ate him up.
Yes, it ate him. And so bugs him. Yeah.
And I remember just like, it's just such an opposite mentality from me that I had a hard time grasping that when I heard it as a younger man. As I get older, I can start to appreciate how people that are peaceful may not have a propensity towards violence, but it's like, that guy is going to fucking kill you or deliver you to someone that's either going to sell you, hold you for ransom. Yeah. It's like, bro, I'll fucking smash your head in until it's fucking soup.
Yeah.
And enjoy it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that guy.
Sleep super good that night.
Actually, sleep better that night, you know, because I get to tell all my friends I got a kill with a rock, you know.
Which, don't judge me.
I'll tell Caveman, yeah, you got your K-bar kills. Yeah. I got a rock kill.
Yeah. Don't judge me. But we talked about bucket list items earlier, right?
Yeah.
Don't judge me, folks. One of my bucket list items is to take someone with a knife. Is that wrong?
Yeah. I don't know if it's wrong, but I don't know if... Can
we scratch that? Can we delete
that? No, there's...
Prank caller.
Yeah. The thing is, like, people that think wanting to kill other human beings is strange. I always tell people this, like, is playing football strange? Is fighting jiu-jitsu strange? Like, human beings, especially young men, are very competitively driven. Yeah. And from the time you're little, there's like, and obviously this is like on varying degrees, but there's some men that just want to beat other men. It doesn't matter if it's at a baseball game, if it's in a wrestling match. And so you harbor that competitive spirit, and then you fucking enlist in the military, and you know there's people out there that want to kill you.
And you hone it and you sharpen that skill set now. And
of course they want to go out there and kill those people. Yeah, like if you didn't want to do that, there would be no such thing as SEAL teams. There'd be no such thing as a Ranger regiment. That is full of guys that are hoping to encounter enemies and get to kill them. Yeah. Like I'll tell you a story from Iraq in 2004. We were living on a camp called Blue Diamond with, it was a Marine controlled or a Marine base. And we would go downtown, and the infantry unit that was there at the time was 2-4, right? 2-4 Marines, fucking studs, dude. Savages, straight savages. Like volunteering for movement to contacts. Like they just wanted to go out there and get after it, right? And we were talking to one of the guys, and he was saying that they were in Fallujah, and they'd cleared a building, and they were there was like some kind of counteroffensive, right? And they were on the rooftop, and one of the guys was running along the rooftop because he saw guys below him in the alley, and his M4 was slung, and he was shooting with an M9 pistol, right? Trying to shoot these guys that were directly below him with a pistol. And he's like, "Bro, what is your M4 down, or do you need magazines?" He goes, "No, it's good.
I've killed enough guys with my M4. I want to kill a guy with my pistol."
But no, he's like, you're good? What do you?" Kind of caught him off guard, right? Like, what does he mean he's good? Because that's a better weapon system for fucking shooting somebody that's 100%. Trying to run away down an alley, right? Absolutely. He goes, "I'm trying to get a kill with at least one kill with every weapon system in our inventory. I haven't got my M9 yet." And he's okay, yeah, roger that. You know, it's like
but I get that, dude. I understand that.
It's like some 19-year-old Lance Corporal, and he's like, "Dude, we're fucking killing so many people over here.
Yeah, I want to kill someone with this gun.
Let's try and just make it a game, make it a challenge." You know, dude. In Ramadi, in the spring of 2004, the Marine Corps did a big offensive, and the team went in, in spring. It was like right around the same time as the Blackwater guys got killed in Fallujah. Our team went in, and I wasn't on the first wave. I was on the second wave, like literally like 3 weeks later. But the guys who are on the first wave, they said, bro, the Marines did this huge push through Ramadi, this big offensive. And then the fucking army just picked up the bodies off the street in 7 tons.
Yeah.
And they said, dude, there was a convoy of 7 tons full of bodies in the back.
Yeah.
He said it looked like those fucking like train carts in the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Like you don't think of those kind of things happening in like modern warfare.
Right.
You know, just hundreds of bodies thrown in the back of a fucking 7 ton.
Yeah.
You know,
It does.
it's fucking nuts is what it is, dude.
You know, and again, I don't think, I think maybe being in warfare, in war, creates more of that lust for killing, if you will.
Bro, there's no, I think you get addicted to it.
Yeah.
Straight addicted
But
to
I
it.
think,
And I'm not even saying that as like something that's good or something that's you're proud of, but like every single mission you're hoping.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think for the people out there that may think we're completely sick fucks and are getting ready to unsubscribe, not to make light of it, that is the case. But what it really comes down to is it is the lust for doing what we've been trained and what we're good at.
Well,
and that is operational shit, which involves killing people.
It's the lust for killing who you perceive to be your
guys.
enemy.
Right, bad guys. Yeah.
You know? And to tell you the truth, they made it real easy for us.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the atrocious shit they would do to people
They
that they
reinforced
captured,
our feelings,
you know,
daily.
burning people alive, beheading people, like throwing gays off of buildings, stoning women to death. I remember I would watch women get killed. I'd watch videos of that when I was deployed,
just to
be like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna fucking kill all of these motherfuckers. But I mean, I've been very open about this because a lot of times people are like, have you killed anybody? And that's, some people act like that's like this terrible question to ask. And the reality of it is, it's like, no, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I spent 10 years of my life over there, and the government fucking put all these young men and women in harm's way, and fucking those experiences, I think people should hear about them, you know? I mean, fucking Mike Glover and Andy Stump, when they did their podcast together, the first one, they fucking went off about killing people for like an hour. And I was just like, oh shit, dude. And it was funny because Mike was like, I didn't even know if that was going to be aired or not, because we went kind of hard, you know? But I was actually talking to him about that because I was like, dude, I haven't killed that many people. I didn't. And combat is just, I always say it's luck of the draw. And I was in some bad areas at some bad times, and I got my opportunity, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah.
But some guys got fucking way more opportunity,
and
you know? And
gunfights at distances are different than gunfights in houses and CQB, or gunfights up close and personal. And sometimes you shoot at people and you think you hit them, but you're not sure, but you don't.
Well, this is, I'm glad you said that, because this is something I always say to people. Because something I get asked all the time is like, how many people have you killed? And the answer is, I don't fucking know. And if anybody tells you a number, they haven't been in war.
Yeah.
For several reasons. A lot of times, if you're shooting at somebody, your teammates are as well.
Right.
There's more than one set of eyes on that guy. The other thing is, I've shot a couple guys that I know was a hit, and then they duck behind a wall or they slide into a door, and you never see that fucking person again.
Or adrenaline just carries them off through that alleyway enough to where they're at your sight. And who knows?
Yeah. Or, I mean, I was in another scenario where I fucking shot at this dude with an AK, and it looked like he fell, but then there's no way to ever do a BDA.
No, right.
Because it was on the other side of the river.
Right.
You know? And so all those little circumstances, you like, war is chaotic. A lot of times, I remember that circumstance, right? We shot these dudes they had masks on and AKs, literally poster child for Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
I'd never seen that before.
Right.
Right. This was in fucking the outskirts of Ramadi.
Yeah.
And me and my buddies were like, dude, this is like fucking a gift,
Yeah.
you know? And we are with an element of Marines. And after we engaged, another element of Marines on the other side of the river put it together. Okay, Americans are shooting at people in this house. So they kicked out a squad and did a BDA.
Right.
And so the Marines I was with, I was like, let me know what they find. And he looks at me and goes, I don't know who they are. I said, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
Those are other Marines that are 250 meters away from us.
How do you not know who they
He goes,
are?
we don't know who that is. We don't have comms with them. And I was like, okay, there's a big misconception of how squared away the military is.
Yeah.
It's a shit show sometimes,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. So we never did find out. All we knew is that the Marines that were on the other side of the river were pulling out their cameras and taking pictures of something.
Right.
And so were they taking pictures of bodies, blood trails? Who knows, right? You'll never know.
Right.
And so I say, like, I don't know, maybe I think I might have killed like 6 dudes.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Yeah.
There's a couple times when it's like, oh, that dude's in front of me and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Outside of that, war is fucking full of unknowns.
Yeah. Same here. There's a couple that I know, but those are stateside.
Yeah, you have to know if you're stateside.
Yeah, don't kill people stateside. Don't.
Police work is very, very different.
Yeah.
And probably a lot less forgiving.
Yeah. Well, I had to go give a deposition the other day from something 11 years ago.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah.
Bro, that's why I'll tell you right now, that is why I'm happy to be out of the profession, because think about having to worry about something you were involved with 11 years ago coming to bite you in the ass.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. Something that's totally good. Just the climate now makes it popular to.
No, you're absolutely right. It is now popular to go back and review police use of force and police shootings and try and hem guys up.
Right.
Because it's flavor of the week to hem cops up, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen that new DA down in Los Angeles. Have you read any of that shit?
No.
He was appointed, I mean, it's been like a month or less, right? And that's one of the first things he said. I'm going to review all use of forces and police on-duty shootings for the last, I think he said, decade, and bring up charges if he thinks it's, I mean, just the fact that he wants to do that, he's already biased.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You're
looking for something. You're trying to fucking hem people up, dude.
And it's like, can you imagine? Well, yeah, you can, because you're still a fucking officer. Or are you a deputy? What do you consider?
I'm a sheriff's deputy now.
Okay,
I'm a deputy. Yeah, so I'm with an amazing agency.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, like the thought of just political flavor of the week, they'll fucking hang you out to dry now. Like that makes it, for me, I mean, you're down in Louisiana, so it's probably a little different.
Yeah, I live in a pretty rural, pretty conservative.
Yeah.
Like I said, my the sheriff's office that I work for is
fucking awesome.
Dude, they're locked on. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
And specifically my chain of command, my commanders, my rank, the people I work for, they're patriots. They're awesome.
That's cool. And I've talked to a lot of people that hit me up after my video and after I got laid off that were like, dude, come be a cop in this town in Texas. We'll hire you. Or Oklahoma, like Idaho, all these other states. And they're like, dude, I love my fucking job. And my chief, I talked to him and you should give him a call. Like, but at the end of the day, fucking relocating. Yeah. I've been relocating my entire life.
Right.
I want to be done with that shit.
Yeah.
You know,
you're better off where you are doing this.
Doing jiu-jitsu and podcasting.
Jiu-jitsu and podcasting.
That's right, dude.
And soon to be guns and jiu-jitsu and podcasting.
That's right, dude. A little bit of everything. But the best thing that I like about focusing on podcasting and jiu-jitsu and our immersion camp is like for the first time in my life, I'm off of the government tit.
Yeah.
And it feels fucking good to be in charge of what you do and what you don't do.
Absolutely.
Because guess what? If I don't fucking make content and I don't put out episodes and I don't fucking get subscribers on YouTube, like there's a business side of podcasting too.
100%.
And it's exciting because guess what? It falls on me. And the jiu-jitsu gym falls on me.
You have an objective. It's
dude.
It's a military operation. You have an objective that you have to achieve, but you're it.
Yeah, when you're it it's just a different feeling. And I think that's why like a lot of government workers, and this isn't just police officers, government workers in general, dude, anyone that's on the GS pay scale, what's your incentive to be better?
Yeah.
What is it? The only incentive that you have to be better in the government just comes from within. If you're one of those people that just
self-driven,
I want to perform, I want to do the right thing, but I don't care how fucking motivated you are or how driven you are. When you're in a career where you're seeing everybody else getting, nothing is based on merit. Things are just based on time or pandering or kissing ass. And you realize, dude, me putting out all this extra effort doesn't benefit me at all.
Right.
At all, dude.
It runs you into the ground.
Yeah, it runs you into the ground. And you realize that you're just putting in all this extra effort and you're getting nothing out of it.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this a couple of days ago, you know, and we're both in our 40s now.
Yeah.
You've gotten there. You're 40.
I'm here.
You're here. You're 40.
My eyes are starting to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened. Everybody told me my eyes would start to go at 40, and it was like a fucking prophecy because I'm already having to fucking hold things away a little bit and be like,
try to get reading glasses like a year ago. Yeah. But you know, at this stage in our life, you know, so we've basically spent 20 years in our industry now, give or take, you know.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm still a sheriff deputy, but for the viewers out there, I'm now a reserve. I don't get paid by the agency that I work for anymore. I run my own business. I basically volunteer my time working for the SWAT team.
Mm-hmm. Right? So you get to do the cool side of police work.
I get to do the cool side.
And not all the bullshit.
And I don't put on a uniform and work the road and all that stuff. I run my own business. I run the academy and my consulting business. And, you know, it is nice because, like you said, whether we succeed or fail is based on us.
Yeah.
And how much effort and work we want to put into it.
Well, and dude,
no one else.
And just hanging out with you over the weekend because your academy is doing very well, right? It's lit a fire in me. And it's like, well, if I change this or I put more effort here or I run more ads or I add more classes, like I'm in charge of if this thing succeeds or fails. Yeah. And that alone is like, I think that's what most people would envision into their 40s or 50s. Like you're in charge of your own destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not fucking going and punching a time card or having some supervisor, I wanted you here at 9 and it's a 9:05 or just whatever,
right.
You know, like a good buddy of mine, Mark Dale, shout out, was a deputy with me. And he was the deputy that would bring his laptop home at night and sit in front of his television, running people through all these different databases and gathering intel and putting together fucking like addresses to do surveillance on and on and on and on and on. Always, dude. And I fucking told him 100 times, I'm like, bro, you're not going to get paid any more money.
Right, leave that shit.
The agency isn't any more impressed with you. Fuck the marshal service. Like, you got to balance your own life too, right? Oh man, that's all good, blah, blah, blah. And even on the weekends, he's like, brings his fucking work computer home so he can be running all this shit. Well, fast forward a few years, I'm not going to air all his dirty laundry.
Right.
But he ended up getting fucking let go from the agency because of a little hiccup in an investigation.
Yeah.
And it all boiled down to him working too hard.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, what were you doing putting, and fuck, I might butcher this story because I don't know the details. But there was a time when you could get on the internet and make fake profiles and pretend to be other people. And he was doing some of that stuff and got kind of hemmed up in it, right? I was like, see, dude, you're going above and beyond. And it just bits you in the ass.
Usually
and everyone
bites you in the ass nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And now you're fucked.
Yeah.
But he's a firefighter now, so he probably loves the fact that he got fired from that fucking worthless agency.
Yeah.
Like,
now he smokes brisket and washes trucks. And
yeah.
You can park illegally anywhere and never get the cops called on.
Yeah. That's right, dude.
God forbid you park your police car illegally for a second to run in and get some lunch.
Oh, is everybody just fucking...
Bro. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
All right. Well, I don't have a whole hell of a lot more for tonight.
No, man. I think it's late for us.
It's
actually,
late.
We're at what, an hour and 45.
Hour and 45. So a little short. Sorry. But if you want to blame anyone, send Lapin some hate mail.
Yeah.
Say,
Send me hate mail.
Your episodes are usually 2 hours and you fucking cut it short.
Even better yet, come down to my academy and tell me to my face.
Because I'll strangle you because I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. But yeah, we got early flights.
Hey, I'm a PANS and Worlds medalist.
Yeah. Hey, you know.
What a hoax. That's what everyone, all my buddies are like, dude, you medaled. I'm like, I lost.
Well, I got a funny story, because not to take anything away from anyone that's earned a gold medal at the Worlds. You know what I'm saying? Dude, if you fight your way and win a gold medal,
oh yeah,
fucking incredible, right?
Absolutely.
But one of my buddies fucking signed up for Worlds one year and he fucking gets there. Guess what? There was only one other person that signed up, and then they were a no-show.
Yeah.
And so
you got a gold world.
IBJJF's like, well, that means that you won world, or you won gold. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you can get your gold medal. And he's like,
but I didn't even fight.
I don't want your gold medal. I want a refund.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And they gave him a refund, right? Yeah. But they're trying to sell that as like,
of course.
I mean, IBJJF, great organization.
Yeah.
Like they're the gold standard as far as jiu-jitsu.
100%.
And this was a long time ago too. Yeah. So maybe things have changed. But I mean, there's a registration fee. Do you think anyone wants to refund a registration fee? Of course not.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, like I obviously we're self-deprecating, you know?
Yeah.
First year as a brown belt, I got a silver medal at PANS, but all I look at is I lost.
Yeah, dude, I know. We talked about that.
You know,
it's still haunting you.
Worlds, you know, I won my first match, so I legitimately got into the semifinals.
Yeah.
I got a bye based on my points.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got beaten fair and square. And props to the guy who beat me. He was a better grappler than me that day. But to me, I just lost.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. Like, they're like, man, you medaled at Worlds. That means like I'm like, nah, I'm not the best at anything.
Well, and here's the other side of it. You can medal and have kind of a, mediocre performance. Yeah. Or, I mean, there's in the adult divisions, sometimes you got 50 dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And you might fight 3 savages and beat them. Like, just because the way the bracket's set up, it's just random.
It is random. That pisses me off.
Well, I don't know if it should, because is there a better way? You might draw the toughest dude in the division on your first fight, and he ends up winning gold. Whereas if he was on the other side of the bracket, you might have won 4 fights and faced that dude in the finals. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing that I don't like is like, so, the one thing that I don't like is, so, I got a bye because of my points, my ranking, and I won my first match, and then I lost in the semis. I didn't even get to fight the guy who got second place.
Yeah, because the guy who got other side of the bracket.
He was just on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
He didn't beat
me.
He didn't beat anyone that I even fought.
Yeah.
He just simply lost to the same guy that I lost to. But because he was on the other side of the bracket, he
already had 1 or 2 wins probably, right? I mean, I just don't know if there's a better way to do it, because the only better way to do it would be like guys fight for third and fight for second.
Yeah.
And which is in itself is kind of intriguing, but then the tournaments would literally probably be twice as long.
Yeah, for sure. Agreed.
Each bracket would be.
And I get they have to do it that way, but like it pissed me off because the guy that was
that's just because you wanted that guy.
I wanted that guy, and I'm better than that guy, and I knew I would have beat him. So at least I would have been one more podium up and had a second place medal.
Yeah, bro. It's just, I mean, it's like we just said about combat. You fucking deploy and you get put out in some safe house out in the middle of nowhere, and you might never fire your rifle, or your base might get overran, and you get the gnarliest fucking combat ever.
Time or place.
Jiu-jitsu is the same thing. Like, there's a guy in Seattle. His name's Josh Calvo, and I've fought him 3 times. and he's fucking murked me all 3.
Yeah.
He's really, really fucking good. He's a cool dude too, man. You know how like the guys you compete with over and over, you start to get to know him a little bit.
Absolutely.
So I fucking drove a few hours up to Canada one time to compete up there because they got a pretty cool, I forget what their federation's called up there, but it's our version of IBJJF in Canada. And it's pretty cool. It's a good tournament. And we had, I don't remember how big the bracket was, but it was like a decent bracket, like 8 or 10 guys. And guess who I fucking was? First match was me and Calvo. This dude that's already smashed me a bunch of times.
Right.
Not that I was opposed to competing against him again, but it's like, dude, I'm in a different country.
And you're my first draw.
Let me go fucking fight some of these Canadian guys.
Right.
And if me and Calvo end up in the finals, then I'll go with him again.
Right.
But no, he fucking knocked me out right away again. And I was like, God damn it, dude.
Son of a bitch. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But that's, like I said, that's how it goes.
And any other day.
Yeah.
Like who knows? Yeah.
God, I like Calvo, but that motherfucker hit me. I remember I told you about getting hit with a fireman carry.
Yeah.
Dude. And I was at a tournament where the stands were fucking packed and a bunch of my students were there.
Yeah.
We slap and bump, boom, hits me with a fireman carry throw, landed in an arm bar.
Oh.
So not only was I a highlight reel throw, but submitted in fucking 10 seconds or something. Yeah. And it's like, I just wanted to crawl inside of my skin and disappear, dude.
I don't want to be here.
You know, it's just like we said earlier. Losing and winning doesn't necessarily determine how you feel about it. It's how that loss or how that win went.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Absolutely. So, I can live with my loss on this one.
Yeah. I hear you, dude. So. All right. Well, I'm not going to fucking hash out my loss again because everyone's probably sick of me fucking whining about it. But at the end of the day, I came down here. We hung out. We competed. We had fun. I competed at heavyweight, so I ate as much food as I wanted. That was nice. And it's back to the drawing board. And as soon as there's any competitions on the West Coast, I'm fucking getting after it again.
Okay, I'll come out.
Let's do it, man.
Stay tuned for the next Guns and Geese camp dates because you're not going to want to miss out.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not going to throw out dates right now, but just a preliminary thought. Like, our first one's in March, and the second one will be before probably early summer, you'd say?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't want to wait till the middle of summer down in New Orleans.
Too hot.
So maybe May-ish, late May-ish, something like that.
Yeah, end of May potentially. We'll get some dates but like I said, like Greg said, this first one sold out in like 3.5 days. So don't sleep on it.
That's right, man. All right, guys. I got a bunch of packing to do, and we're headed to the airport bright and early. So that's going to be a wrap.